It was a cold winter evening in the small forest-side village of Elmsworth. Snowflakes floated gently from the sky, settling on rooftops and tree branches like soft white feathers. Just outside the village, nestled near the edge of the woods, stood the cozy little home of 9-year-old Elsie and her grandfather, Thomas. Elsie was staring out the window, humming to herself as she watched the snowfall. Her dog, Mutt, barked once, then growled softly, tail stiff as he peered into the snowy darkness. Elsie squinted. That's when she saw it. A large gray shape staggered out of the woods and collapsed right in front of their gate. Elsie gasped and ran to the door. "Grandpa! There's something outside." Thomas came slowly, cane in hand, and opened the door cautiously. Lying in the snow, her fur matted with blood and ice, was a she-wolf. Her breathing was shallow, and her eyes barely opened as they approached. Thomas, once a forest ranger, recognized the signs. "She's wounded and exhausted." But before they could step closer, a tiny yelp rang out. From under the wolf's belly crawled a small gray cub, barely a few weeks old. He nudged his mother's face with his nose, whimpering. Then, to everyone's amazement, he tried to tug at her fur as if trying to pull her up. When she didn't move, the pup turned to the humans, two big eyes full of fear and desperation. Elsie's heart melted. "He's asking us for help." Thomas was quiet for a moment. "They don't usually come this close." She must have known it was her only chance. He turned and said firmly, "Help me get her inside." Together, they brought the mother wolf into the warm shed, laying her gently on a blanket. Elsie gave the cub a bowl of warm milk, which he lapped up eagerly. Then he curled up beside his mother, pressing his tiny body against hers for warmth. They called the local vet, who arrived quickly. After examining the wolf, he looked up, eyes wide. "She's been shot. Looks like poachers. She must have dragged herself miles to get here. She's lucky to be alive." Elsie stayed up all night, watching over the pair. The cub, whom she named Snow, stayed close to her, occasionally pawing at her arm or licking her hand. His mother stirred in the early hours, her breath steady but weak. She opened her eyes and saw her pup safe, then closed them again, a tear sliding from the corner of her eye. 3 days passed. The news of the wolf miracle spread across the village. People brought food and blankets. Some cried when they saw the cub lying next to his mother, refusing to leave her side. Others cried when they learned the full story, the long journey, the injury, and the mother's desperate hope for safety. Then, on the 5th night, something extraordinary happened. The mother wolf st. Her legs shook, but she stayed up. Snow jumped and yipped with joy, licking her face. She let out a low, soft howl. Then she turned to Elsie, and for a long, silent moment, their eyes met. It was as if she was saying thank you. A few days later, the mother wolf was strong enough to return to the forest. But she didn't go far. She and Snow visited often, appearing near the trees, just beyond the garden fence. Snow would run up and paw the gate, tail wagging like a dog, while his mother watched from the woods. And every time, it brought tears to everyone's eyes, because they all remembered that night. The night when a dying wolf chose to trust humans, and her baby's desperate plea for help reminded them all of the power of innocence, love, and hope.